I think I've considered myself an artist for pretty much my whole life. I remember back when I was little, I used to make small comic strips about family pets or other random animals and try to show them off at, family gatherings and stuff. So as far back as as I have memory, I always had something to do with drawing or art in some way. I tend to work in a lot of mediums. My main medium with painting is acrylic paint. I like it because it dries fast. I can start a painting and stop a painting usually within a night or two. That's changed a little bit since I've had a son. I have to spread it out because my time is a little bit thinner. But I like to draw. I do a lot of digital drawing. I like to do just about anything I can just to be able to make something. If it's something that I want to make that I don't know how, then I try as hard as I can to learn how to use whatever it is, tools or medium, to make that happen. I've started working at MakerWorks, which is a maker space, the south side of Ann Arbor, using laser cutters and CNC routers and things to try to kind of take it up a notch. So I've worked at Zingerman's for just under a decade. I think it's been about 9 years now. My official title is Illustrator and Thing Maker. I started out as a part-time illustrator when I was first hired on, and over the course of time, a lot of other and new needs came up to make things and to make signage. So I started being able to figure out how to fill those gaps and eventually created the salaried position that I have now, Illustrator and Thing Maker. And it's great. I get to draw and paint food for a living. I work for a really great company and they treat me really well. People probably, if they're familiar at all with Zingerman's, have seen something that I've drawn. I do artwork for catalogs, for ads, for websites. We did videos briefly. I think I did some artwork for a video, starting to work on some animation. If they've been to any of the businesses, they've seen some signs that I've made for sure. A couple years ago, I decided to make a push to get my artwork seen. I've never had a solo show of my paintings before, and I felt that I was starting to get a cohesive enough set that I could display them confidently. So I looked around for show spaces in Saline and found the Stone Arch, and she helped me hang up some artwork for a couple of their events. And at one of them, Margie Bovey, the director at 212, she was there and she saw my paintings and approached me to schedule a show. So that was my first contact with them. So my show right now doesn't really have a very strong theme. I try not to project too much about my artwork or about stories or about meanings or threads that pull it together. I find that when I work, I tend to work in small spurts of a particular style, and I do a few paintings, I do them rather quickly, and then I move on to something else. I'm just driven to do something else. This, I kind of stayed in the same zone stylistically for a good chunk of time, and it wasn't a conscious decision as much as it just was what I was making. So there's not really a set theme. It just kind of feels like style-wise, they're all very similar. There are some landscapes, some cloudscapes, some very intimate paintings that are close in on a subject. But I felt that, I guess if there's a tie that binds them all together, it would just be the style. Some of my pieces are for sale. Some of my pieces are way too personal for me to be able to part with. I tend to feel that way about a lot of my paintings. It's difficult when I've made them with the idea that I'm going to hang them on my wall. It's difficult to then let go of them for any amount of money. I guess the right amount of money makes it a little bit easier. So I would much rather do commission work. I would love it, and I do love it when people approach me to do a painting for them, because then I can start out from the beginning knowing it's for somebody else, and I put a slightly different, not less energy, but a slightly different energy into making it. If people wanted to find out more about me or my artwork, they could go to my website, ryansteiner.com, or my Facebook page, Facebook/Ryan Steiner Art Things. I would love to talk to anyone about anything, and I would love to have people contact me for commissioned works. I try not to talk too much about what it means to me or what themes might be, because it's very important that if you want to identify with a painting that there's nothing in the way of that. So if I've told you this painting is about X, Y, or Z, and you look at it and you're like, oh, I don't really see X, Y, or Z. I really wanted to see this, but now it's clouded because you told me what it's about. So I try not to put too many filters or too many layers in front of people viewing my paintings. I just kind of want them to go there and look at them, you know, experience them, and if they like them, great. If they walk away hating it, you know, it doesn't bother me that much.